Danny, we're in the fifth round of the FA Cup. I'm not sure I can even believe that, let alone you with your 23 years of experience. But we'll go from the beginning and start off in October. Barnet in the fourth qualifying round. What did that draw mean to you before it came about?
I don't think we was too pleased with it, if I'm honest. They were a local club. It was probably a bigger game for us than it was them. They were in a relegation. They were in a bit of turmoil at the time, and they just replaced managers. So you looked at when they're going to get a bounce back, and but we nicked it 1-0. We took about 700 across, and it got the FA Cup run off, I suppose, to a running start, because everyone was engaged already, so no, we was well pleased. And I remember after the game taking all the players out, we popped up to a mate of mine's restaurant in St Albans, the Chili Bar, and and then we all had a little Indian paid for with the prize money.
And mentioned it there, the 700 fans. How good were they on the day at the Hive?
Yeah, they were great because they were having a bit of fun. I mean, you went over there and it felt a strange atmosphere. It felt like an FA Cup occasion for us, but as I said, it felt a little bit subdued over, with the Barnet fans. And historically, obviously, they're the bigger club, so you're going to get that. And no matter who you are, the away fans normally make more noise than the home fans anyway, if there's a few of them. And as I say, we were really surprised with the numbers that turned up, and it's probably got us over the line, because it was a close game, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Will's put an header in, and I think it's come back off the keeper and rolled in, and I think Big Will's celebrated an own goal, hasn't he?
And we've gone next up, Eastleigh in the first round proper. Bowden scored his brace in that game. What else do you remember from that day?
I remember thinking, is anyone going to turn up? It didn't feel like nobody had seemed to pre-buy tickets, and you're thinking, oh, it's the first round of the FA Cup. It didn't feel like that before the game, but luckily the fans turned up again, which was nice. Bodes went and got a brace, and what else do I remember of that game? Not much really. The first goal was a cross from Kane, and Bodes just crept in at the back stick, down at the south end of the ground. And I'll tell you what I remember was Bodes got an hat-trick, and it was a late flag which denied him 3 on the day and saved me a match ball. So I was pleased.
And then the next round, the draw for that one, St Albans, good friends of yours. What did you make of that draw before the game?
I didn't like it. No. Ian Allinson's teams, you're not quite sure what's going to turn up. But, the one thing is if they turn up, I think he's a hard manager to gauge, a hard manager to play against. I've seen what he's done here, done a great job for me here. And he's done a great job for St Albans there. I know he gets a bit of stick at times from their supporters, but they should remember where they was when he took them over. How he got them out of that relegation fight in that first year. They were dead and buried, and we would talk often that year. I would say to him, you can't defend your way out of this one. You've got to go and score goals, and he did that in abundance. But on the night, to the victor the spoils, and I had no sympathy for him on that night. He came here to take away our dream, and it was our job to perhaps snatch away his dream. He knows that, that's football. I'm not saying it was a 4-0, but we was always in control, and probably the turning point was the St Albans boy's header just before half time. It comes out, and we come out second half, and we catch them cold, really. The young left back, he goes to ground, doesn't he? And he's got to stay on his feet. Kane does what he does. He's put the cross in, Josh Reese's header, and from 2-0 it was over. We don't concede goals, and you could never see them coming and getting 2 against us. And there's over 4,000 in the ground. St Albans came here. They were great, weren't they? Their supporters, you know, they came here. There was great banter at either end. A couple of idiots ran on the pitch at the end, which we dealt with quite sternly. And yeah, no, fantastic. 4-0. We put them to bed. You know, and again, it was important. I think you saw the pitch that night. It looked fantastic. The North Bank looked fantastic. You know, the West Stand, the East Stand. You know, we've spent an awful lot of money on our infrastructure. And it's all right, people saying about their big clubs because they might have 200 or 300 supporters more than us. But you know, you've also got to go and build an infrastructure. You've also got to, and that takes years. You know, and so again, it was good for us to showcase our club off that night. It was live on the box. And I think, yeah, before the game, it was the draw, wasn't it, for AFC Wimbledon? And when it came out, I think there was a little bit of disappointment wrapped around me. But I felt that whoever won that game, us or St Albans, that perhaps AFC Wimbledon might be winnable, you know. So yeah, so great night. Everything went our way. And we sent them back to their city with their tail between their legs.
And it was the next round, the third round. Got to the third round last year, and it was great to get back to the third round this year against AFC Wimbledon, as you've already mentioned. Luke's old team, lots of storylines surrounding that game. Gone and done them 2-0 at the LV Bet here as well. How good was that night?
Well, you've got to understand what you just said. We played Millwall here the year before. In an empty stadium. It was awful. How can you get to the third round of the FA Cup and you walk out and you might as well, you know, you might as well played it in a hospital waiting room. In fact, there'd have been more people in a hospital waiting room. It was shocking. So a year later, it was the complete opposite. You know, our fans turned out. Wimbledon fans were fantastic. Another great atmosphere. You know, like it was with the St Albans boys and our boys. So, no, I think we played ever so well that day, you know. Luke had a plan. He felt they were young. Their gaffer decided to match up our system, which we were hoping he would. We're a difficult team to play against at the best of times. We're big, we're strong, we're ugly. That's just me. But yeah, so you know, Luke was always very confident. If we could, basically what you don't want to do is play catch up and go a goal behind in that first 25. And Ty's, you know, picked up the ball from Josh, and he's come inside on his right foot, and wow, what a finish! And then later on in the game, I mean, everything Luke touched that day turned to gold, didn't he? He puts Adrian on, and you know, first, second touch, whatever it is. I mean, what a finish! He's got across his man, just helped it on. I think it's gone in off the post, and it's all over. We know that. And then suddenly you're in dreamland then, because you know, suddenly you're in the fourth round. Again, I was a little bit disappointed the Wimbledon game wasn't on the box, you know, because it always felt that it was one of those upset FA Cup games that, but it was covered well, even though, you know, match of the day and that type of stuff. So no, I was happy.
And then we've moved on to Bournemouth, gone down to the Vitality. What a night that was.
Oh dear. I mean, it wasn't just the night, it was the build-up, it was everything. It was the selling out of the way end. You know, there was 400 or 500 going down for the weekend. They were going down on the Thursday night, the Friday night. I had friends and family everywhere. But there was a part of me, I mean, you remember that day, we had the early draw. So I remember being at home and Mandy saying to me, "You don't seem happy with Everton away." And I said, of course I'm happy, but we won't be playing Everton. What we'll be able to tell everybody was, had we beaten Bournemouth, we would have the toffee men up at Goodison. And I've been there a few times with Chelsea as well. A tough place to go. Let's be honest, I was expecting us to get felt down at Bournemouth. Probably up to the 95th minute. You're just waiting for one to hit the back of the net. And it was, you know, and it sounds really, really cliche. You know, I've had 5 boys. I've got 13 grandchildren. You know, I was at the Miracle in Medina when we in Chicago when we beat the Yanks. I've had some amazing times with England, with Chelsea, with Boreham Wood. It's the greatest night of my life. You know, there's nothing that even comes close to it. You know, someone says to me, "What about the kids?" I said, "Well, why would that? That's not. I didn't enjoy that. My missus was in pain for every one of them. That was just pure joy. From the time Rico's gone and rolled. I mean, Rico was 37 years of age. He rolls one in the 38th minute. I can tell you every part of that game. I must have watched it 3,000 times since. Pilling going through in the 75th minute, and he helps it onto the roof of the net. You're suddenly looking, and then there's the disallowed goal. I think that's the 78th minute. You know, I mean, the first save, you know, Tay's got fortunate really. Everyone says, well, what a fantastic. The first one was, it squirmed under him, hit the post, come out. The second save from the boy from the header was just out of this world. And then the boy puts it in. The guy was offside, I mean, but we rode our luck, we earned our luck. Our fans were incredible. My staff was incredible. You know, the tears. I can't tell you what it means because none of these foreign owners will never understand what a little non-league club's chairman felt like. Because this club's in my blood, it's in my bones. This town's, it's who I am. And then you see old friends, new friends. You see kids of 5. You see grandmothers and grandfathers crying their eyes out. You know. And I have to. It is just. It's the greatest feeling a man will ever feel. I'll never ever feel like that again. I promise you. I'll never feel like that again. It was incredible. And I know so many of my pals. I know I know this town. I know my staff. We just looked at each other and thought, what has Luke done? What has Rico done? They were warriors on the night. You know? They just epitomised an underdog town. You know, they epitomised what the FA Cup's about. It's not about, you know, yes it is about Liverpool and Chelsea maybe walking out at Wembley nowadays, but, you know, they're more worried about the Champions League. Everyone knows that. You know, you offered someone to win the FA Cup or win the top 4, they're going to take top 4. But for us, it was everything. Everything. And everybody, you know, by next year there'll be 7,000 people in Bournemouth say that they were there. Even though there was only 1,500 of us. There'll be 7,000 people claiming, no, I was there. Because that's what we do. Amazing. Just amazing.
But it wasn't just the win at Bournemouth. We've now got to go up to Everton. And we will be in the quarter-final draw. The draw is before our game. What does that mean to hear Boreham Wood's name be called in the quarter-final draw of the FA Cup?
It's surreal. I don't think... Look, I'm going up there, you know, I'm a realist. We don't want to, you know, I'm just worried that we'll get given it. I'm worried that, you know, we'll get overruled. You know, again, we're up against it with injuries. We're up against it with people being cup-tied. I just hope we can properly field, you know. I think at the moment we've got 14 fit players. I suppose Luke will tell me I shouldn't tell everyone that, but it's true. We'll go up there, you know, we'll wheel them out. I mean, he'll probably be naming injured players on the bench just because we have to. yeah, we're going to be drawn. I'm not even sure who's left. You know, if I'm honest. I mean, I know Chelsea are left. You know, so could you imagine? Bournemouth, Chelsea. I mean, dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, it doesn't matter now, does it? We're going to go up there on a Thursday night. We've sold out our allocation. I've lived in Liverpool on 2 separate occasions. I did two or three movies up there, and so it's a city I love anyway. You know, both times I lived at the Adelphi. Used to have a little nightclub underneath it called Kicks. I used to pop to a little boozer nearby called the Beehive. I used to play on a Monday night with a few Scouse lads who were on the film crew. So we'd go and play. We'd go and play five-a-side. Sunday night in the 80s, there was a great nightclub called the Coconut Grove, the Cokie. So we would pop down there. Thursday night, we would pop to a little club called the Continental. This was in the 80s. A lot of the old, if I go back then, a lot of the old players, I think McManaman and all, it was that little era. They would pop there. So that was the Conti on a Thursday night. I loved the place. You know, I always felt Scousers and Londoners had similar humour. They had the ability to laugh at themselves. And a lot of us were working class lads, so I adored it. So going up there now, I'll probably be staying in a nicer hotel. But again, I look back and think, where have the years gone? I was a young man then, and now these are laughter lines. And no, I just look and the years are going past quicker and quicker, and so I'm looking forward to just going there, and win, lose or draw. It'll be good to just have that moment with the players after the game. When we get back to the hotel, because they've been outstanding. Never asked for a penny, and we've put them on a plane to Dubai for. Give them a little summer break. We played at Notts County, and then we've got a little break because the league's only got 23 teams in it, so every team misses a Saturday. So it's allowed me to get 35, 40 of them out to Dubai for a little mini break as a thank you. And if any group have ever deserved it, it's this little lot.
And being a Chelsea lad yourself, your little football club, Boreham Wood, going up against Chelsea legend in the opposite dugout, Frank Lampard.
Yeah. Are
you excited for that one?
Yeah, like you can't believe. I mean, and Ashley Cole, he's up there. I think, I'm not even sure, someone told me today he took Paul Clements up there with him as well, who's a smart lad, as well, a very, very respected coach. Yeah, I remember when Frank walked through the door at Chelsea. No one will tell you it now, but a lot of us were, because Poyet went to Tottenham, Gus Poyet, and some of us weren't happy about that. We weren't sure how Frank would settle, but that's why, we're on the terraces, and he was outstanding for us. I don't know if you remember when we won the league, or as good as one up at Bolton. You remember the big nights in Europe. I remember JT getting sent off. Ramirez's little dink to make it 1-0. Well, you'll know that if you're a Chelsea boy. And then Torres was lazy as you like. Didn't even come back. We're hanging on. And we break. I don't remember. It's the greatest thing. If Gary Neville ever listens to this commentary or this interview, it's the greatest commentary he's ever given, because he kept his mouth shut and he just sounded like a football supporter. Because, do you remember it? As he ran to go, and it was just, that's how everybody felt on the night. He couldn't have got a better commentary sound, in all the world. It said everything that we felt, so Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And then, of course, to then go and beat Bayern Munich in the Allianz, and Drogzeder, from that corner, and then he rolls in the pen. Um, so again, all those things. I mean, I better check that John Terry's not going to get changed into a Chelsea kit and be in our team photo. Well, I've been there forever. I'm only kidding. But yeah, no, fantastic, and I am hoping, if I'm honest, to be able to shake his hand, and because he was amazing for us.
And the final thing I wanted to ask you is about the community. This FA Cup run's brought the whole town, the whole community together. How important is that for a little non-league club to get in and amongst the community and help out everyone?
It's everything that it needs to be. We're a town of, I mean, last time I looked, it was about 34,000 is our population. Um, but it's important to touch all the areas. It's important to touch the schools. It's important to deal with, all manner of things, whether you're dealing with racial equality, sexual equality, whether you're dealing with religious bigotry. We've dealt with all issues in this town, and I've never seen this town so united, from top to bottom. Every age group, every ethnicity. It's, you talk to people, no one's interested whether you're Labour or Tory. You're Boreham Wood. That's what this town was always been about. It's been about us, Our high street, it's all what we've done. It's brought third-party spending to that high street. So we've even helped the shopkeepers, the publicans, the hoteliers, the petrol stations, people buying a packet of fags. You see now the kids, they're running around with little Boreham Wood kits on. Mum and Dad are proud of their association with the club. We're trying to do more and more initiatives, We had Ladies' Day here Saturday. It was fantastic, We didn't play fantastic, but the fact is the turnout was great. And again, it gets used a lot, sound bites, community, wider this, wider that. But the truth of the matter is you've got to care about your town. And if you've done well for yourself, and I've done okay, back in the day, it's not wrong to put your hand in your pocket. And maybe make sure that there's one or two maybe been a little less fortunate than yourself. And I often look at some of my old friends, and things hadn't quite worked out for them, and I think they're but for the grace of God, go I. And it's our town, and I know when we travel up to Goodison, they're as united as I've ever seen them. They're happy, and I know that this FA Cup run, there's a lot of old friendships been reunited. People have bumped into each other in some of those bigger games here, whether it's Wimbledon or St Albans or some of the games since. And if we've made one or two people happy, or we've played a small part in that, then again, that's all we can do. Remember, I own it and I'm the chairman of it, but it's just a borrowed piece of time, and and I'm just that custodian that's been fortunate enough for the last 23 years to try and take it to a level that it hadn't seen before, and this FA Cup run's just been everything and more than I could have hoped for, and my family could have hoped for. So without getting too gushy and mushy, it's been a privilege to have looked after so many of my supporters, because they've been with me from day one, and they've been kind to me in the bad times as well as the good times, and now they're getting their reward.